downtown Phoenix courtroom, the prosecution lays out its case in the attempt to gun down the man you see on your screen, Brandon Boudreaux, the relative of Lori Daybell. And then Daybell makes her opening statement, but why was she being interrupted so often during that part of the trial? We're going to try to kind of dig into that. And then Boudreaux himself, really the star witness in this case, and also the intended victim in the case. So he takes the witness stand to describe the moment a bullet was aimed right for him and barely missed. That's all coming up this morning on Fox 10 Talks. And then we have this story out of Peoria. A mom just goes out around sunset time for a little walk with her youngster, babies in the baby stroller, and suddenly a kidnapper appears. He tries to steal her child, and her husband responds, a neighbor responds, and you better believe Peoria police respond too, but it ends right there inside a beautiful gated neighborhood in the Northwest Valley with police opening fire on the suspect. He's dead. How's the baby doing? All that coming up. Plus, you're also going to see the craziest ending to a race ever, where a young woman, it looks like she's going to win, then she stumbles, and then she tumbles and does a somersault and pops up and still manages to win the race with all of her competitors closing in on her. And boy, we are getting some action now on our poll question today, Trump versus Musk. It's been quite a war of words. What do you think? Are Republicans going to stick with Trump and it's going to get done by 4th of July? Or are you in the group that says, Musk, you know what? He will primary some of these GOP senators, what he thinks is the big ugly bill, and they will soon be out of a job. You have other options too, including Musk. There's still a chance that he can kill this bill. Just grab that QR code and we will check in with your comments on that just a little bit later. But as we so often do when things get underway, and they're really getting underway now, the first full day of action of the courtroom, George Obie joins us. George, any surprises for you from what happened yesterday?
No surprises for me. I think the big surprise was Prosecutor Trina Kay came right out of the gate with her star witness, putting Brandon Boudreaux, the intended victim in this case, on the stand first. So giving the jury, the main course, if you will, from the very beginning, and establishing Brandon as the victim and establishing what he saw on the day that he was shot at, which, as those of you who have followed this saga, he is the only surviving member in all of this, the only the person who was not killed.
Yes.
And so it gives you kind of an opportunity to hear from someone in these horrific crimes, that someone that was there and survived.
Here's what let's do. Let's play some of the highlights from the courtroom in downtown Phoenix yesterday, and then we'll get your insight into that. We'll start with this.
There already for over an hour. When Brandon turned onto his street, he immediately noticed this Jeep because it was parked so close to his driveway. The back of the Jeep was facing towards him, and he immediately also noticed that there was no rear tire. He saw a Texas plate on the Jeep, and then he saw that back window of the Jeep open up. A rifle barrel come out and point at him. And then bang! He heard a shot and his window shattered right next to him. Brandon hit the accelerator and he took off. He turned the corner and drove a block or so away and stopped, calling 911.
This case is a case of conspiracy. The charge against me is that I conspired with my brother, Alex Cox, to murder my niece's husband, Brandon Boudreaux. But you will find, as you begin to see the evidence put forth in this case, that there was not any animosity between Brandon and myself. I personally did not have any motivation to have harm come to Brandon. In fact, Brandon and I had a very friendly relationship all of the time that I have known him.
When you were asked by Detective Pillar if there was anyone you knew who might want to harm you, were you able to provide any names?
I told him the only person I could think of.
And who was that?
It was two people. It was Lori and Alex.
Is that Lori Ballo?
Lori Ballo and Alex Cox.
You arrived on the scene that day. Do you remember?
I do not.
Who was there when you arrived?
I believe
Syleste joins us. Well, Syleste, I thought maybe since we have George with us, he could give us a little more perspective of, just give us the lay of the land when the shooting happened. What time of day or night was it? Where exactly did it happen? And how close a call was it?
So this happened in the early morning hours of second week of October. Brandon had just returned to his rental home, by the way. This was a home that he had been renting because he had been going through a divorce at the time. He'd only been there a couple months. And so not many people knew where he lived. And so what you're going to hear in this case is, who was it that told Alex, at least the prosecution will say, who was it that notified Alex where Brandon was living? This happened, again, in a very quiet neighborhood. We heard from a neighbor yesterday. They noticed this Jeep parked in their neighborhood that was parked in the opposite direction of the flow of traffic, so on the opposite side of the street.
Was that kind of what attracted the attention?
I think so.
When somebody parks backwards,
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
like,
What's going on?
It's like, what's the point?
Right.
It was a Jeep that had very dark tinted windows, so you couldn't really see inside. And then Brandon described what he saw. He noticed the Jeep. He noticed the windows. And then he noticed what he thought was a gun, someone inside, but he noticed a specific type of weapon inside this Jeep. And then, of course, as we learned yesterday, several bullets hit his Tesla in the driveway. We saw for the first time some evidence, photos of the damage. And Lori, in crossing the detectives, she tried to kind of poke holes at theory, thinking that, well, could this have been caused by anything else other than a gun? So we had Brandon on the stand for most of the morning, and then we had the owner of the home that Brandon was renting from. Then we had a neighbor in the area, and then we had two detectives, which is where we leave off yesterday afternoon and where we've picked up this morning. Trial just got underway. Lori is still cross-examining one of the detectives in this case, and then we expect Brandon to be back on the stand today because Lori was not prepared to cross-examine Brandon yesterday.
oh, so that's happening today.
That's happening
that'll be big,
probably
yeah.
right before lunch. Her investigator in the case could not be found. He had some documents apparently that she needed in order to complete her cross-examination of Brandon. So he will be back on the stand at some point this afternoon. And then so we'll get a chance to hear Lori cross-examine Brandon. First time I think they've spoken since probably before the shooting. He did testify in one of her Idaho trials, but they have not interacted. So we're interested to see what approach she takes with Brandon, and then of course the prosecution can redirect.
So we have some questions in the chat
Okay.
this morning. We have one from Brooklyn Levine. She's asked about Melanie.
Yeah.
Can you explain who Melanie is and whether or not you think she may be charged?
So
in the case?
Melanie Pulowski is, I'm guessing who they're referring to. That is Brandon's ex-wife. So we learned obviously that Brandon and Melanie were having marital troubles the summer of 2019. It was starting to come to a head. He described some issues in late June where that's when things started to get rocky. So they were in the middle of a divorce. The prosecution is going to explain that this is part of the motive on behalf of Lori and Alex. Because they considered Brandon to be a dark spirit. We still don't have a full explanation as to why Melanie has never been charged in any of this. you could make the assumption that there just isn't enough evidence to tie her to any of this. That this is, by the way, Melanie and Lori is Melanie's aunt. So that's the relationship. So Lori maybe took it upon herself, her and her brother, to step into the divorce proceedings. But we still don't know why Melanie not only has not been charged, but has not been called to testify.
Can you ballpark us on, in opening statements, how many times Lori was interrupted and why was she being interrupted so often?
So by our count, there were 12 objections in her by the prosecution in Lori's opening arguments, and we saw this.
Is that unusual?
Well,
this is not. You're not cross-examining somebody,
right? It's unusual in the fact that Lori's representing herself. So you have a person who is not a defense attorney or an attorney at all. I don't think it's that uncommon for prosecution or defense to object in an opening argument, but 12 times does seem extreme. But again, you're dealing with someone who has never delivered opening arguments other than one other time, which was in her previous trial.
And did the judge sustain every one of those?
Yes.
Every single one of them.
And a lot of this is because in an opening argument, you are really supposed to, in layman's terms, give the jury kind of a preview of what they're going to hear in the case. But with Lori, because she's not experienced in this, there were times when she's kind of subtly testifying herself in her opening argument. Prosecution obviously is going to object every time, and the jury. Look, if Lori wants to do that, she can put herself on the stand or, provide an opportunity to, in her own defense, speak. But in the opening arguments, it's really all about telling the jury, look, this is what you're going to hear. This is what we're going to try and prove to you. And at times, Lori was, testifying, giving some insight into who she was as a person. And again, that's not the time and place. And Trina has been all over it. We saw this in the first case. In her opening arguments, Lori was subtly doing the same thing, and the judge had to remind her, look, this is not the place to do that. If you want to do that, you need to take the stand.
I think there have been so many twists and turns with this case, and you mentioned all these names, and I think sometimes people like to have a little bit of background. You and Justin have done an amazing job on providing that on the app. I mean, there's so many different stories.
It is.
So maybe if you're interested in that before court begins, that's somewhere you can look right now.
Yes, look for the Lori Vallow on our website and on our Fox Local app. We've got it all up there. Yep.
Okay, George. So great.
Yeah.
So great.
Great
Your
insight.
coverage
Great
is
insight.
excellent.
We're back to court.
Yep. All right. And we will see after a quick break some of the other major stories of the morning. We hope you can stay with us here for Fox 10 Talks. Let's roll up that mystery cam, everybody. That's a nice looking town. We'll be right back. Well, everybody, we welcome you back. And yeah, this is great right here with the mystery cam. Celeste, almost the second she saw it, shouted out a certain state. Which did you say, Celeste?
I went with Wisconsin.
Okay.
And so did B. Miguel.
Well, Brandon is an excellent player at the mystery cam. I looked at it and oh, look, here comes a fisherman.
We've got some more options. Linda Monter says Mississippi.
Yeah.
Lisa Dinsmore says New York. She says, I missed it. Too busy looking at my phone. LOL. So I'll go with Hartford, Connecticut.
Right.
Sherry Nevada Pup says Arkansas.
Okay.
This morning. We've got some good guesses.
Those are some good guesses. So you're going Wisconsin. I think I'm going to go Illinois. And here she is, everybody.
Here's the mystery cam. And it's Peoria, Illinois.
Oh,
nice work, Ron.
Nice.
Did anyone else guess Illinois in here?
Okay, let's go back.
Angela Brockelman. She said Louisiana. Her daughter said Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So Angela's
Do we know
daughter.
Angela's daughter's
I don't
first
know.
name?
I
We should
asked.
give her a shout
I
out.
asked in the chat box to see how old she was. Lisa Dinsmore says it's a Fish Fry Friday. So, and I had to give a quick shout out here this morning to Oscar Leon.
Oh, yes.
Ron, I was just sharing with you. He was professing his love in the chat box for his wife.
Oscar was?
Hello, Fox News
Right
10.
in the middle of Fox 10 Talks? Okay.
Good morning, Arizona. From my wife, Alexandra, my sunshine, my moonlight, and me, Oscar. Oh, and that's sweet. Oscar,
That is
sounds
great.
like you have an amazing marriage, and we're happy for you.
We are getting lots of commentary coming in this morning because this, Celeste, I read a piece a few months back when it was all love and happiness between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Yes.
And it said, it's going to end badly. And I thought, well, that's kind of a sourpuss take on it, but that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Now, they might, who knows, maybe at some point they'll patch it up. But I don't know for sure. I don't think it's the president's style to just turn around a day later and say all is forgiven. I mean, the word coming out of the White House this morning, and I've been watching plenty of the reporting there, is that his aides are trying to do what they can to bring the two together, and they've been talking to Elon, but he's not talking to Elon right now. And Peter Doocy, Celeste, had a story this morning
Yeah.
where they were, they had a camera out in front of the White House, and remember that show and tell when Elon brought a couple of Tesla cars out there about a month ago or so?
Yes, I do recall.
It's now parked outside the grounds on the other side of the fence and is for sale.
Oh, for how much?
Sale.
For how much?
I
mean, I
don't
could
know.
I could potentially be looking for an electric vehicle.
Well, I'm just telling you, if you want to read the body language, park it on the outside of the White House grounds here and put it up for sale.
Yes.
That doesn't indicate to me that all's going to be forgiven anytime
No, maybe
soon.
they're going to use the funds to pay for the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Well, anyway, Chip Roy said as follows. You know him. He's one of the more prominent members of the House. He's a congressman from Texas. And he says, Elon crossed the line today. I mean, it was like he was looking for everything he could.
Yeah.
Impeach him. He's like all tied up with Epstein. I mean, one thing after another. And let's see, another congressman from Texas, Fallon, said, hopefully we never have to answer questions about tweets like that from Elon again. Again, with the reporting, some of the reporting I'm seeing, there's not been one single defection against the president. Elon may have thought, because he was wealthy and has donated a lot of money, that he carried all kinds of sway, but guess what? He doesn't.
Yeah, it's not working.
Every single member of Congress who's been asked about it so far is fully supportive of President Trump. Now, it's interesting, and those are all Republicans they're
Right.
talking to. But this is interesting because the Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman has kind of been, this according to Fox, has been dissing the Dems for suddenly embracing Musk. These are the same people who were out there, you know, doing the F-bombs every time somebody brought up Elon Musk. And he's like, you are not serious that you think you can now like rally around Elon Musk And he says you can't quickly go from vandalizing Teslas, quote unquote, to celebrating his opposition to the big, beautiful bill. So it's just interesting the way it's all playing out. And
there's a lot of people out there that are pretty wishy-washy. You know, they're very lukewarm.
Correct. So the question then is, where do you come down to the poll question? Ooh, these numbers are moving around. We love it. But here's what Shannon Bream had to say as we had our chance, as we do every Friday morning, to talk with her. Shannon from Fox News Sunday.
We just want this family to know that
we're pretty excited about.
Tonight we responded to a call shortly after 6:45 p.m.
For
email.
Shannon, I remember reading a piece a few months back that said, just wait, it'll end badly between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So, I mean, Musk is hurling the insults from, hey, Trump is in the Epstein files, to he would have lost with, if not for me. Maybe they make up, Shannon, but if they don't, what's the risk for Republicans that Musk maybe would primary some vulnerable Republicans or try to break off, start his own party? What?
Yeah. Ron, you hit the nail on the head. I think those are the two things that are probably most worrisome. He spent hundreds of billions of dollars last time around, maybe millions. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars last time around.
Okay. Still a lot.
Millions.
Yeah.
It's all here in D.C., the millions and billions and trillions, like it all starts to run together. But he did spend hundreds of millions of dollars doing things that were very beneficial to Republicans last time around. So there is a worry there, but they'll also point to all the money he poured into the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, which was a very big deal. And kind of his candidate there got shellacked. So they say, you know, he's got money. Does he have the political instincts to actually make a difference here? Right now, most lawmakers on the Hill, they seem very much more aligned and worried about having President Trump's endorsement for their races as they move forward, and that's going to have the sway that he needs in trying to get the big, beautiful bill passed.
So that's my next question. Is this dust up more like a distraction, or when the margins are so tight and all you have to do is pick off one or two or three in the House or in the Senate, could it in any way make it harder to get the big, beautiful bill passed?
It's possible, because you think about the handful of folks you have in the Senate where this thing now sits. One of them is going to be our guest this weekend, Senator Rick Scott. They have expressed a lot of the same concerns that Elon Musk has about spending, about not balancing the budget. Ron Johnson's out there saying we're selling out our kids and our grandkids. So there are definitely Republicans who share some of those same concerns in the Senate. You've got to get those from no to yes, at least most of them, if you want to get this thing passed. So Elon still very much has a voice that is being echoed by other GOP lawmakers whose votes are crucial.
Yeah, okay. And when it comes to the Senate, you just mentioned Ron Johnson. Who are you looking at that are the potential no's or, you know, right on the fence that really will make all the difference? Would it be like a Rand Paul? Could Josh Hawley, who apparently doesn't like any restrictions on Medicare, who should we look at?
Yeah, I think you named all of the ones that we're definitely keeping a close eye on. That, you know, we've got that Medicaid issue, we've got the spending issue, we've got the debt limit issue, which is a big thing for Rand Paul. He says he's a no with that in there. Ron Johnson, Rick Scott. I think that those are really critical ones. You're always looking to those who are a little bit more moderate, like Collins or Murkowski as well. Where will they go? And frankly, Mitch McConnell has been unhappy with the administration. They've clashed over things. So there are a number of people that you would want to keep in the mix and look at, because you can get 3 votes down there with Republicans in the Senate. So already they've got some significant issues they have to resolve, and the timeline is very tight. If you're going to get this done in the Senate, is it still palpable enough to pass in the House, which is held together, you know, by, you know, paper clips and bubble gum at this point,
right,
and then get to the president by July 4th.
All right, tell us about your Sunday show. Can't wait.
So in addition to Rick Scott, we're going to have the House Foreign Affairs Chair with us, Mike McCall, too, in the middle of all of these conversations about talks with Russia, Iran, Israel, China. I mean, there are real foreign policy issues bubbling that we'll get to with him.
We are going to be watching out here in Phoenix on Fox 10, Sunday morning at 8. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Ron.
And so now, you know, we have a couple of different ways you can vote, either on YouTube or with the QR code. And I'll show you that one more time in a sec. But yeah, here's our glimpse at what's happening with YouTube and pushing 200 votes there. 58% say Republicans are going to keep backing Trump and the bill be done by the 4th of July, but 24% say, look, Musk can do it. Switch a couple of these votes and kill the bill. Now
That's a lot of votes, Ron. We've got 189 votes on that poll.
Yes, right?
Wow.
And then a lot of votes happening with the QR code version of the poll right there. But the numbers are a little bit different here. So that's why we like to share both of them, a couple of different ways for people to hop on. And they're at 67% say it's going to get done by the 4th of July. And only 4% say kill the bill. Musk can do it. 21% think that Elon Musk is not going to swear off politics, that he will be primarying the senators that he perhaps blames for all the spending that are in on this bill. Now, here's what we like to do every morning at about this time. We introduce to you, Syleste, did you have another new nickname for Big Dave today?
Big Red Machine.
The Big Red Machine. Okay, so yeah, that's for sure. We love it when you get a chance to actually come in here and visit with us. So Dave keeps track of all your comments, and what are you seeing, buddy?
So many good comments, and what I love about our commentators is we welcome all opinions, everybody on all sides, and we get opinions from all sides. Right. So today, Miranda from Phoenix is saying, the poignant state of our government is disappointing, but not at all surprising, as Trump is doing exactly what Project 2025 threatened he would do. I'm no Elon fan, but I hope he's able to kill this bill somehow. And then on the other side, Jenna Per 22 says, I figured something like this would happen when he whipped out the chainsaw on stage. He's a bit of a spoiled rich guy and a bit immature. You could see this coming. And finally, Linda D S1B says, praying for Trump and Elon that they can work it out and not fight, and hope they don't use bad tactics.
Dave, that is really interesting perspective, because
is.
a lot of talk now, there's this guy named Bill Ackman. He's a kind of a Wall Street guru type of guy. And he likes them, knows them, and likes them both, and says, for the good of the country, knock it off and get together, figure out a way to come back together. And Elon posted a response to that.
Wow.
Where he said, you're not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like maybe he's softening. I don't sense any softening yet from the White House. By the way, that car's up right now on a for sale by owner.
I think it's kind of interesting to see these two men powerful in their own world.
So
you know,
true.
one in politics, one in business, and trying to figure things out. We're talking egos and pride, and it's like, okay, somebody's got to give in.
For sure. Okay, taking a break. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are continuing. We're 30 minutes into Fox 10 Talks. You can catch us every morning all around the world, live on YouTube. My Aunt Jessie was having her 90th birthday, and I was talking to her yesterday saying, hey, come watch our show every day.
Happy birthday.
So you're in Phoenix and I can watch you?
Oh, so sweet.
It's the beauty of YouTube.
And Nancy. Where is she again, Ron?
Issaquah, Washington.
Issaquah, Washington.
All right, everybody, welcome back. There has been a development in the world of crime that is it's really shocking. And here you have a mom. If you're not familiar yet with this story, we have this mother. I'm going to show you some of the video from the neighborhood. It's a gated neighborhood. Sorry, I keep thinking I'm hearing the music.
We are hearing the music.
Is that what's going on?
Oh,
there it goes. All right. But anyway, here's the neighborhood where it was all unfolding. If you haven't heard about it yet, this is just going to blow you away. So, mom taking a little baby of hers and her husband out for a little stroll right in this neighborhood, gated neighborhood, up there around Thunderbird and the 101. And somehow an intruder gets into the neighborhood. We don't know how or why, or was it random, or was it targeted? So much to learn. But he tries to steal her baby right out of the stroller. She quickly, she fights him off, quickly calls her husband, who jumps into the situation, and a neighbor. They chase the guy. Of course, they call police right away. Peoria PD gets out there, and the guy, instead of just giving up, chooses to try to fight officers.
Unbelievable.
And eventually, they're threatened. They have to open fire, and then the suspect ends up dead. Here was what was being said out there in this Peoria neighborhood.
Tonight, we responded to a call shortly after 6:45 p.m. for a male subject who was allegedly attempting to take a female, kidnap the female, an adult female. She was at the time pushing a baby stroller with a small child on the stroller. According to witnesses, the subject attempted to take the child from the female, at which time she FaceTimed her husband. Her husband came to the scene, and apparently the suspect was chased down the street, down 87th Lane and West Pershing Avenue. At that time, officers were responding to the call. Officers contacted the suspect. Some sort of altercation took place, and an officer-involved shooting occurred. The subject was transported to a local hospital, who is now pronounced deceased. The officer was transported to a local hospital as well for precautionary reasons. The officer is okay.
Yeah. So, we hear about this, and in the end, by the way, Glendale PD are now taking over the investigation since there was an OIS, as we call it, an officer-involved shooting.
Yeah. It is so disturbing.
Could it have been totally random? How did the guy get into the neighborhood? Would he have known that somebody was out there with a baby in the baby stroller? I mean, did he go in there with the intention of trying to steal a child? A lot more to know.
Yeah, and we say that and she shared with us that the call came shortly in after about 6:45 p.m. So it's not 9 o'clock at night. Like it's, 6:45 it's probably a time when you had other neighbors maybe walking the dog,
and the weather was decent enough. I bet you there were 100 moms around sunset time last night. Taking their kids for a walk or in a baby stroller.
And many of them not in a gated neighborhood. Yeah. This one happens to be gated.
Right.
The details come in and say that she actually FaceTimed her husband. Yeah. So he was able to see the guy. He and the neighbor knew maybe who to look for.
She was FaceTiming with him, and all of a sudden the guy comes up.
It just said she FaceTimed the husband. Okay. So it wasn't just a phone call, but she was able to show her husband what the man looked like. Apparently. And so that I'm sure helped, but what a scary ordeal, and we were actually talking about this in the newsroom this morning when I got into work. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who have stories like this, almost situations like this. When my sister was younger, Ron, my mother had her at the grocery store, and she was sitting in the shopping cart. Yeah. My mother turned her head away for 1 second to look at the meat in the meat section, and she turned around and there was a man in a suit walking away with my sister. Oh. And my mother chased him down and was like, that's my daughter. That's my daughter. This is my little sister. She's 2 years younger.
In the middle of the day?
In the middle of the day at the grocery store.
Wow.
And
Did other people jump in to help?
Well,
or
no, I don't think anybody was around. My mom just said she asked him. She was like, that's my daughter. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was my shopping cart.
No
right?
way. No.
So
Okay.
it's scary when you think about it. I mean, stuff like this probably happens, close calls, more often than we think.
Okay, and then we have a story. We want to update you on the story out of Washington State. The whole country, I think, has been praying for this family. 3 beautiful little girls, the police say, all killed by their own father. And we're expecting to be getting a little bit more of an update on that case later today. But if you missed it yesterday, we had the sheriff, Mike Morrison, in Chelan County, speaking of the county seat, Wenatchee, about what the family's going through, the community's going through, and how they are doing everything they can. Now, you'll hear a little bit more about what he had to say, but then you're also going to see a new picture of the suspect that has now been released. Here we go.
Shannon, I remember reading a piece a few months back that said, just wait, it'll end.
We just want this family to know that
We're pretty excited about seeing Brad Paisley and Walker Hayes. Nice.
And as for Travis's current location, we're just tracking down different leads. We're not taking anything outside of him being here in the geographical area, to also being in other states. I mean, we've worked with agencies from Texas and McCall, Idaho, just tracking down possible sightings. We're also working with our partners with the U.S. Border Service, Homeland Security Investigations, and doing everything we can to track potential leads on him. We also work with the FBI's Behavioral Analyst Unit to get a better understanding of what his psyche might look like, what his thought process is. And I've tried to put out the message every single time that we've had these opportunities to reach out to people. If Travis is watching, I want him to turn himself in and let him know that we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to look for him until their voices are heard.
And here is the new photo now released by the Chelan County Sheriff's Department. They had some of the other ones that we were showing you earlier, but now they've released that one as well because he's all tatted up. And they're thinking, by the way, he is considered a survivalist. And you go 5 miles outside of, this is my hometown, sadly, Wenatchee. You're right up in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. So some very tough terrain to try to track down. But that's the update there. And we're just going to kind of keep track of it as the days go on. Did you guys know, by the way, Isabella joins.
Hi, Isabella.
That today is the anniversary, the 81st anniversary of D-Day. I think we have some pictures.
This is amazing.
Yeah, these old
Can you
black and
believe
white
it's been
photos
that
here.
many years?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And anyway, if you ever go, here's my just 2 pieces of advice for you. Let me pop up a pic right here. When I went with the kids, I took the Stephen Ambrose book. It's called D-Day. We stood on the beach, and I read them stories of what actually happened on that very beach that day. And you start up by the American Cemetery, and just so you know, it's a bit of a hike to get down to the beaches. But if you can, I made sure the kids were there with me right at 6:30 in the morning.
Did you guys have costumes and everything, Ron? Like
Costumes?
Were you, yeah, like
Yeah.
you know,
Uh-huh.
you know, Army,
Sure.
Marines.
Yeah. Now, it was tough getting him past TSA. That was the biggest issue. But anyway.
But so wonderful. What a great way to learn about history.
I hope so. I hope the kids remember it. You know, the other thing, it's also National Donut Day, and we haven't even mentioned it. Here we are 38 minutes into the show.
And where are the donuts, Ron?
Well, they probably all sold out
Isabella?
already.
Thank you.
They probably sold out. But Isabella's been running through where the deals are.
Yes.
What do you know?
Oh, there's a lot of deals. Some
Okay.
spots you don't even have to get a purchase, but Bosa Donuts doing a free donut with purchase.
Okay.
So is Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, I'm waiting for someone to bring some donuts in. To the
I'm
hallway.
with you.
Oh, I thought you were waiting for the video because.
Oh,
here
there we go.
Go ahead, tell us about some of the deals.
Yes, so you can get a free glazed donut with a purchase at Bosa Donuts. Ooh, a free cinnamon and sugar donut at Duck Donuts. I haven't been there yet. Rainbow Donuts, 10% off in-store orders.
And you haven't been to Rainbow either yet, have you?
No.
Okay, it's about a mile from the station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's over at about 10th Street in McDowell. It's amazing. I I always say Bashas has the best maple bars, but I think they have the best apple fritters I've ever tasted.
Good to know. I
It's
do
like
like
a
that
meal.
donut.
Yeah.
It's right next to the Banner University Hospital.
There you go.
Krispy
Well, let's see
Kreme,
what else you got
free
here.
glazed donut,
Okay.
even without a purchase.
Mhm.
Wow. Every time we get on this show, I'm so hungry with all the comments. Ron and Celeste, what are your guys' favorite donuts?
Oh, I'm probably gonna have to go with like a cake donut. I do like those or an
Really?
old fashioned,
Okay.
like just in the white cake because I can't do chocolate. I'm
Yeah.
allergic.
Right. Could you do maple on the maple bar?
I can do maple
Okay.
on the maple bar. Yes,
Yeah.
so delicious.
That's my fave. At
Yeah.
Bashas.
I like a maple bacon donut.
Oh, with the bacon. That's
nice.
a good move,
Like
I
sweet
think.
and salty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, since we got a couple more minutes before the break, you guys, Brad Paisley was in town last night. And I didn't realize it till, I think, Celeste, was it you or Anita that brought it up yesterday?
Oh yeah, me because we were talking about West Virginia.
Yes. And, the bus was parked just right outside our studio. And I said, oh, that is one name that I haven't seen a concert that I would love to go see someday. I guess the concert went fantastic last night. But do you guys have anybody on a bucket list of who you would still love that you haven't seen yet? Mm-hmm. I have this tendency to go time and time again. Like I've seen James Taylor a couple of times, Elton John, I think 3, maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
But like, who would you love to hear?
Isabella,
in
what do you go
concert?
first?
This is so random. I would love to see Shakira in concert.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah,
Be
lips
such a
don't
good
lie.
promoter.
You know
Yes.
what? I will go with you.
Yes.
Okay. Look at that.
so fun.
Look at that.
I will go with you. I think mine, we've seen Dave Matthews Band, Chris Stapleton. I think I would probably love to see like U2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bono.
One of their all-time concerts is right out at Sun Devil Stadium.
Yeah.
Years ago. People still talk about it to this day if they were
There's
there.
this new show that we're watching online on streaming, and it's U2. It's Bono, and he is he's talking about his memoir, and so he's walking you through his life and playing the music in front of a live audience.
Wow.
And it's really interesting to learn like the background, how he grew up and where the music came from, and
I have 3 letters for you. I don't know if you guys have even heard of this band. They were big in the 70s. ELO.
ELO.
Electric Light Orchestra.
ooh, okay.
The evil woman. Anyway.
I know that song.
That sounds familiar.
Well, share it with us in the chat box. We're
Yeah.
going to take another break. Isabella, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you,
Happy
Isabella.
Friday.
Happy
And,
Friday.
and we are going to be back in 2 minutes.
Do you
was 12, LOL, and that's all I remember. That's so awesome.
Here we go. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Nice shot high above the harbor, and it looks like a very nice day in Baltimore, Maryland. I know they're still working on that bridge. It's going to take a long time to get that freeway bridge built, but boy, it looks nice in the harbor of that great city. There is a beautiful piece of art that we want to share with you right now, and believe it or not, first of all, we're going to show you and tell you where you can go see it.
Yes.
And then you're going to meet the artist here in about 60
beautiful.
seconds. But I call this the Golden Phoenix. I'm sure as we get a chance here to talk to Isaac Caruso, who's been working on it for a long time. It's Isaac's pride and joy. Do I have that right, Isaac? It's your pride and joy?
It sure is. 7 years in the making. I'm so happy to see it up.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, first of all, if you don't mind, tell everybody where they can see it, and then just kind of go back in time and give us the backstory of how it all first began.
Yeah, so you can see it. The grand unveiling is this weekend for the Southern Light Rail Extension grand opening. It's on the Sherman and Central Station, which is just pretty close to the start of the new light rail extension. And kind of the inspiration behind it was it's about 300 feet away from the homestead of Daryl Dupa, who named the city of Phoenix. So I wanted to create something iconic that served, the namesake.
That is so great. Just give us the logistics, though, of did you first come up with the idea? Did somebody approach you? Did you feel like you had to sell it to a bunch of different people to kind of get the ball rolling? How did it all work?
Yeah, great question. So I was selected by the South Phoenix community about 7 years ago to create an original piece of artwork on top of this TPSS building. I came up with the Phoenix. I presented it to them. They unanimously approved it, and Valley Metro is the commissioning body that funded the project.
Yeah. Okay, so have you had the thought that I have several times when going to other great cities in the world that we need more art? And I mean, not just a small piece, but a large piece that really speaks to the people of the city. Have you had that feeling for a long time?
I did. That was a big part of the inspiration is I wanted to create something iconic, for the city of Phoenix. And I think we accomplished that. So super proud of it.
Okay. So just give us, and Syleste is going to jump in as well because we've got, I think, some folks, Syleste, with some thoughts. What do you see?
Yeah. Hey, Isaac, it is absolutely beautiful. We have folks in our chat here on YouTube saying amazing art, little philosophy. Linda Monter says amazing Phoenix art. Frankie D says love the art. What is it made of, Isaac?
It's made of translucent fiberglass. So the best part about this is if you travel down the light rail at night, it glows. It's like a fiery burning ember. So that's another facet of the piece that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think we're showing that night image. Okay, so are you an artist? Like, where'd you grow up, and how'd you learn to make this type of cool art?
Yeah, it's time for you to salute a fourth grade art teacher or something.
Shout out to Miss Papanduros. High school art teacher. Yeah, I grew up in Phoenix, born and raised here. This is where I practice my art. I created this sculpture using a 3D CAD program and handed it off to a fabricator and engineer to make it come to life. I mostly do murals, and I'm starting to do more sculptures now, and it's just a really fun practice. I love making my living this way.
That's awesome. Okay, so is it, I'm guessing, did you ever think growing up, hey, I can make a living being an artist? How cool is this?
I didn't, and it took a long time to get to where I'm at. But I just feel incredibly blessed to be able to do it every day.
It really is so great. But I mean, in listening to this live interview with you, I feel like it was just smooth as silk from day one to today. Were there actually a few hurdles you had to clear? Anything unexpected happen over the course of the whole project?
I got to say, aside from just having to wait a very long time, it was a very fluid, genuine, smooth process. Working with the community was amazing. I'd already worked with them on a 400-foot mural at the Space of Opportunity Community Garden That's why they selected me. And I just really wanted to get inside their heads and figure out what represented them best. And we collaborated together to create this design. So again, huge shout out to the South Phoenix community.
So where can we see you said murals, where can we see your other art? And then just another quick question, what's next for you?
So you can see my murals all throughout the Valley. And actually Arizona, I created the first children's book ever illustrated entirely with murals. It's called Sam and Sarah. Just completed the largest mural in Arizona with my buddy Evan Hillis. It's 800 feet over at Cannon Beach in Mesa. And I have no idea what's next for me. I'm just really taking it day by day and stopping to smell the roses.
Spoken like a true artist.
Yes, absolutely.
You have too much of a plan. It's too stiff.
Yeah. Is it in the realm of possibility that you could do another epic piece like this, whether it's on the light rail or just somewhere else in Phoenix or perhaps another city, says, we need something iconic for our city?
Kind of like a statue of Ron Hoon made of fiberglass
now,
or
hold on,
something.
Celeste. I'm not pushing that.
Is this the creative brief right here?
Yeah, I'll pose for you.
Okay. No, you can bet your buttons that I'll be doing something big again, and this was just a great
Gosh, so great. Isaac,
segue
you're
into the
amazing.
industry.
Good. That's great. All right. Well, what a pleasure to get a chance to talk to the man behind it. And by the way, one more time, the unveiling is exactly when and where?
8 a.m. Saturday, tomorrow.
Okay.
In South Phoenix. Go to valleymetro.org or .com, Valley Metro's website, and you'll be able to find the 3 different locations that they're going to kick off the celebration.
It's so great.
It is.
Okay,
Wonderful.
Isaac. Congrats. We
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see your next epic piece here in the Valley somewhere.
Yes, sir. Awesome.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Now, Celeste, of course, the whole reason that we're talking about this is it is a huge celebration in the works for this opening of the new light rail line, and he's talking about it. I mean, it is, if you ask me, it's as iconic a piece anywhere in this great big city of ours of 1.8 million people. And it could have gone anywhere. Could have gone right in the heart of downtown, right there where it makes the big curve. Could have gone out in front of a ballpark or city hall or anything. I love that it's on the light rail line. And so the plan now is for the opening of a new 5.5 mile South Central extension.
Yes.
It does open tomorrow morning, and coming up in the next little while with Ty and Anita, you're going to find out all about it. But
I think what's really interesting for a lot of you who've grown up in the Valley or been around here for a while, I think the part of the name of the event is like Cruising Central. And that's because if you've grown up here a long time, you know that Central Avenue through South Phoenix was like a big area where folks would cruise, like in their decked out Monte Carlos, or lowriders and, with their hydros and things like that, cruising down, playing great music and lots of artwork. And it has been, it's been a long time coming for the South Phoenix area.
Yeah, that's for sure. By the way, more good news on weekdays. We're hearing that trains are going to start running more quickly now every 12 minutes. If you ever missed a train by about 30 seconds.
Okay.
And you're waiting and waiting. That's really good news. That's through 7 o'clock. And then they're also going to run about every 20 minutes after 7 p.m. and throughout the weekends. So it sounds like they really have a plan to kind of boost the service. But again, our friends from Valley Metro are going to be joining at 11 with Ty and Anita. We can find out more about, where's the next great leg going to go.
Yeah.
I always wonder if I always pay. But by the way,
why did you have to preface that first?
I wonder if we really know
Juliana from Valley Metro is in here now.
Yeah?
And she's like, well, I'm glad he said that because that was a big question.
Correct.
Whether or not
believe
Ron
me.
Hoon pays his way.
We're friends, Juliana and I, but she was giving me the evil eye, so I just want to put it out there. I always pay. But do we know how many people, what's the compliance like?
I think it's
Are people really... Do we know? Is it 100% everybody's paying, or are people getting on?
That's a good question. But
I haven't seen. I know there are ticket. What do you call them?
Ticket
investigators or whatever that hop on
security,
a train and they
like
want
this guy.
No, but beyond security, they want to make sure you actually paid to get on. I would love to find out about that. But I love the light rail. I took it just a couple of months ago, all the way out to Mesa after I landed at Sky Harbor. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best way to go.
It's pretty cool. And finally, for all of those restaurants down and businesses on Central Avenue through South Phoenix, you finally have a way to get around and get down there as well, because they have some great restaurants. There's a restaurant, Ron, down on, it's called Ponchos.
Yes.
It's down on Baseline and Central.
Okay.
It's been around for many, many decades. They've got great Mexican food.
Oh, that sounds
gotta
so
check
good.
it
And
out.
it's right on the light rail
That's
line.
right.
And by the way, Mesa is booming all up and down the light rail line there. New apartments, new condos, new restaurants.
Can I
It's
give
really
you? Can I
great.
give you a great restaurant as Ty sits down here
Yeah,
in,
sure,
in
of
Mesa
course,
on Main
yes.
Street?
Okay.
Worth Takeaway.
Oh, I know.
The best chicken sandwich. I did a story there.
Yeah.
And they actually soak their chicken in buttermilk for like 24 hours at least. It's a party in here.
Sounds like a cocktail
Hello.
party. What's that?
Can you be quiet?
By the way, because we talked that with Syleste, I just want to mention this, especially now that Ty's here. If you haven't seen, this is my favorite video of the day. Ty, have you seen this?
No, this is not as fun as the grandparents race.
Oh yeah, but watch what happens. The winner is maybe not going to win because look what happens. She stumbles, but she does two somersaults.
Oh my gosh!
And
Did she
wins
win?
the race.
Oh my god!
This was up in Oregon.
This is a high school track race.
Yeah, and so I mean, she just takes off like a bolt. Look at that. About 3 hurdles in, 4 or 5. Everything's great. I don't know if she just clipped her foot on that last one, right?
You know, Ron, we should try to get her on.
Look at her.
But to have the presence of mind to do the
Tuck and roll.
somersault,
Tuck and roll.
tuck and roll.
That is
Yeah.
unbelievable video, Ron.
Favorite video of the day.
Yeah.
We had to make you wait for 56 minutes to get to
That
it.
is so impressive.
Wait, but I don't know anything about running the hurdles. Does
Okay.
she get any points deducted for hitting the hurdle?
No.
No. Okay.
They want you to be as smooth. They almost want it to be like another running step.
That was
like
pretty
it's
smooth.
A smooth flow altogether.
Do they
but
get style points?
I don't think they teach somersaults as part of track and field. Ty, what have you guys got coming up next
Well,
hour?
you guys were just talking about the light rail. We have one of the spokespeople from Valley Metro. They're going to be joining us to talk about that. Plus, we've been talking a lot about this kind of really mysterious case of these 2 high schoolers who went up hiking near Mount Ord and end up being shot and killed. And
So
it's kind of a real big mystery. And so our Kinsey Beach actually went up there yesterday to the Mount Ord area. So we're going to have her on kind of talking about the case, what she's learning from some of her law enforcement sources as well. So that's what we've got going on in our 11 o'clock
Those
hour.
2 high schoolers went to Arcadia High School. Lots of people are wondering what
And
is
that's all
going
coming
on.
up, by the way, next right here on YouTube. Thanks for spending the hour with us. Here come Ty and Anita.
Have a great weekend.
Do you have the app?
All right, welcome on in. It is 11 o'clock, which means it is Fox 10 Talks. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of the week.
We did, and it was a very busy news week.
It was a busy news week. And so we are joined here this morning with Kinsey Beach. Kinsey, welcome. We haven't had you on before.
We had her on yesterday,
but
not in person.
It's a
not in
little
person.
different. I'm not like guessing, but that you can hear me.
We can see you. But that's why we brought you on, because you were heading up on an assignment yesterday, and we wanted to talk a little further about what it is that you discovered about these two teens from Arcadia High School who were found dead.
And I think that's why we went up there, because so many people have so many questions. We've been told from family and friends they were going on a camping trip. We knew it was in Mount Ord. We're told that by law enforcement. But what does that look like? Where is that? Kind of, so many people were curious, so we're like, let's go up there. What was really interesting, it's off, and you're looking at that now, is when you turn off State Route 87, it kind of looks like a fire road right there. Like, it doesn't look like you're entering.
When you say fire road, you mean the road that the crews would take if they're fighting a wildfire.
Not like you feel like you're going on a camping trip, but as you go further up, this is like an hour up the mountain. Then, I mean, it's very remote, very desolate. There's not like designated campsites or campgrounds. There was a couple different spots where you could see people had lit campfires or like had rocks around, stuff like that. Some hiking trails, but not your typical campsite. I mean, there's no water up there, no restrooms up there. But yeah, 18-year-old Pandora Julesrud and 17-year-old Evan Clark, they both went to Arcadia High School. This was 5 days into summer break. They go on a camping trip, and they're both dead now.
And their parents knew they were going on this camping trip. Their friends knew they were going on this camping trip. This wasn't out of the ordinary for them?
Yeah, so I talked to friends right after the two teens passed, and they were like, they were on a camping trip. They were both outdoorsy people, but there's still so many questions. We don't know if they went by themselves. We don't know if they were with a group. We don't know where they were found. I mean, such a large area up there that we were at yesterday. So we're just kind of looking for, clues or insight, but still just so many questions. We don't know if they were in a car, what car they took to get there, what was found. So
are you finding that you're not getting that information from law enforcement, or have they been kind of tight-lipped? I know that when we have these types of investigations, obviously they want to protect in case they have a person of interest or something like that for the integrity of the case. But sometimes that means that we're not really getting a whole lot of the full story of what's happening.
Or do you think maybe they don't know?
It's kind of a little bit in between. We keep pushing for answers from law enforcement. They're not really saying anything.
What are some of the questions that you've asked? I know you said that you emailed over a huge
20
list.
questions. Do we know how they got there? Do we know if they went by themselves? What car were they in? Were they found in the car? Are we looking for a car? Because I think that gives a little insight. I mean, and was this where they were going camping, or was this where they were found? There's just so many questions.
And this is really kind of like freaking the community out, though, too, because obviously this is two young individuals just graduating from high school, and then their lives tragically come to an end with really not a whole lot of information about what happened.
Exactly. And that's why we also have asked the Tono National Forest. I mean, we've had people asking us here,
is it safe?
Should we go camping?
If this was random, what do we have to worry about?
Yeah, and people concerned about camping. So they did tell us there's a watchtower, an active watchtower. We don't know who patrols that and how often, and there's park rangers out there, but they're not answering our specific question, is there a safety concern?
They are saying for sure, though, that this is a homicide.
Double homicide.
Double homicide.
Yeah. And we know from doing a bunch of other investigative stories, that they're not going to list it as that if that's not what they're investigating it as right now. One other side note is, I mean, we have not been able to talk to the parents of either of these Arcadia teenagers, and that could be they maybe know information, or law enforcement is telling them to kind of lay low, but I would like to hear from them. They probably want answers too.
You mentioned you talked to friends. What did they have to say? About I mean, you know, there's questions. Were they in a relationship? Did they hike often? Did they camp often?
Yeah, so we know just through kind of social media, Pandora was a little more outdoorsy, pictures of her fishing, summer camps up north in the mountains. But it just, what was their relationship like? They were friends. You know, an 18 and 17-year-old, we don't know, was one a senior, was one a junior,
Right.
but the groups that were up there at the memorial were friends with both of them.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll kind of see what happens.
Do we know what the next step is?
Right now, I think just on our end is keep pushing for answers. But also on the same side of that, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is asking the public for information, like pleading, if you know anything, tell us. So either they know that someone knows something or they're really at a dead end.
If I can go back when we were chatting in the newsroom, when you were out there yesterday, you ran into someone who told you where the crime scene tape was.
Yes, right off of State Route 87. So
it was fairly close to the road
yes.
then. They weren't kind of like up. I mean, they might have been camping up there.
So, we don't know where they were found, but law enforcement had that whole hour-long drive
gotcha.
completely closed off. No one
Okay.
could enter essentially the Tono National Forest off the road. So,
Well, that speaks volumes. I'm sure you'll continue to follow. And the
Yes.
next time you have
Yes.
updates, we will have you on. Thank
and maybe
you so
we could have
much.
you on like a happier story.
Yes,
Do you
that
ever
would be
do you ever
great,
cover
too.
like
Do you get-
puppies or like?
I could bring my puppy.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love puppies. We do love
No,
puppies
a
here.
happy story would be great. I'll definitely have to come back.
All right, we
All right.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Kenzie.
Yeah.
Our other big story that we are tracking
The light
is
rail.
this. Look at this
Yeah.
light rail. Some big changes happening for downtown Phoenix, and this has been kind of a long time coming. You
It's
guys.
a lot of growth.
It is a lot of
and
growth.
so I think that means more people will be able to ride the light rail.
Yes.
Have you ever been on the light rail?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm proud of you.
I'm a urbanite. You know me.
For a story or because
For
you
fun.
Yeah.
Choo choo. Am I right? Juliana Vasquez
like,
is joining us here this morning with Valley Metro. And man, you guys have been busy. You guys, it seems like we have a new project that we are announcing from you guys every month, every week,
Yeah.
it seems like. And this is a big one.
This is the largest project that we're opening ever since the original line. The 20-mile line opened in 2008. 16 years later, we're adding 5.5 miles of extra service, and we're also introducing a 2-line system. So big changes. We're growing up. Like
Yeah,
Valley
we
Metro
really-
Rail is growing up.
They really are.
You went from elementary to middle school, junior
We're
high.
teenager now.
Yeah. So we had that original several miles, and now the new portion. Where is that going to take people?
So the new portion is going to take people from downtown to South Phoenix to Baseline and Central. So that's that new portion. But again, like I said, we're going to open also a transfer hub in downtown Phoenix. So which is super exciting because you'll be able to transfer between lines like a big city.
Oh wow!
So now this is going to be called the B line, right? This new one.
The north-south is going to be the B line. Yes.
Okay. Now, for people that are already kind of familiar with Valley Metro, is there going to be like a little bit of a learning curve to kind of
Yes.
know? Because there's been some changes with kind of directions,
original.
correct?
Yeah, so the original line obviously runs from Mesa, and right now it goes to Metro Parkway. And so when we open the new extension, it's going to run from Gilbert in Maine to the downtown hub at Washington. So that's where it's going to end. The B line is going to operate from Baseline and Central all the way to Metro Parkway. So it kind of splits.
And I think we have some videos. So this is kind of
So
this
that's
is where
the
it's going to
hub,
happen. This is
yeah.
the hub that's going to be right
That
in the
is
heart
exciting.
of downtown
It is very
Phoenix.
big city, and we are a big city. We've grown so much.
So much.
Have you seen ridership steadily going up over the past couple of years?
Yeah, so one thing we are seeing is it's starting to recover from COVID because COVID,
Sure.
it took huge hit, but people are starting to ride again. And I think the ridership is changing in the fact that people are using it more for events. Yeah, we have daily commuters, but a lot of people are choosing to ride it to a D-backs game, to a Phoenix Suns game, because you don't want to park downtown. You don't
No.
want, it's expensive, it's hard to find parking. So we're just seeing that casual ridership growth.
That's the
is
best
nice,
part
yeah.
too, yeah. Because I was going to say,
It's easy.
you keep mentioning, but we have so many great events that are happening downtown with all of our sports teams, and of course, we get those big concerts coming into downtown.
We have the at the convention center this weekend.
Fan Fusion.
Fan Fusion,
thank
yeah.
you.
So many people are going to be there.
But you don't want to deal with going to downtown Phoenix to find parking, and it can be a nightmare. And you mentioned it is expensive.
It's expensive.
Are we ever going to see the light rail in like Scottsdale, Old Town?
So that's really something that we have to talk with the cities about, but we are planning westward expansion. So this expansion not only is growing our system, but it sets us up for a westward expansion to the Capitol Extension area, and then on the I-10 West, where the light rail will run on the freeway. So there's a lot of. So we're not even done growing yet. Like we're just going to keep growing and just keep expanding.
I think you have to. I mean, there's so many people who have moved in the city, and that traffic coming in from the West Valley on the 10. I mean, by 7 o'clock. It's like a 20-30 minute commute just for a couple of miles, and so the light rail would help.
And we know the folks in the West Valley, like they've been asking for it forever. They know they want it.
Well, Anita does traffic every morning, and you know that those inbound lanes of the 10, they really get backed up.
Except on Fridays, then we
Friday's
have Friday
good.
Light.
Fridays.
You made a couple of changes recently to the way people pay and ride as well. So if you're new to the light rail and you're really excited about this extension, they should also maybe be reminded of this.
Yes, so we introduced we introduced mobile fare first, but then we transitioned to copper cards instead of passes. So copper cards are great because you can purchase the $4 pass and then just keep reloading it instead of just buying passes constantly. So you can just keep using that commemorative copper card. And fun fact, we're giving away free commemorative copper cards on Saturday if you come to our celebration, loaded with full day fares, so you can ride all day for free.
Well, we have a couple of our viewers talking about. Louis is saying he'd like to come down.
Yeah,
it looks so cool. That's a perfect time to come down.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about kind of what is happening tomorrow, because you guys kind of have a lot going on downtown Phoenix tomorrow in kind of a celebration of this, right?
Yeah, so we have a huge celebration that's actually at 3 locations along the route. So we're having the main ribbon cutting speaking program, first rides at the Baseline and Central Avenue Park and Ride. There's also a lowrider car show at Ed Pastor Transit Center. Celeste was talking about it. It's really an ode to like cruising Central with those lowriders, those classic cars. So we're having a car show kind of to pay homage to that. And then also another event location at the downtown hub, so at Cityscape. So you can ride light rail to all 3 locations and just like see what each has to offer, and it's all local entertainment, local vendors. We really wanted to keep it local within the culture.
What time does all that start?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yep.
So you're going to have a long day.
I am. I'm gonna be there at like 6 a.m.
Oh,
well,
really
we appreciate you
exciting.
coming in. We were texting you this morning. We're like, hey, Juliana, can you come talk about this? Because it's going to be exciting for a lot of folks that are, commuters. It's a nice, easy way.
I like seeing the growth. I grew up in, I went to school in Chicago, so I was on the L, and I loved being able to take that from the campus where I was in Lincoln Park to downtown, to Evanston, to the airport. It's just, they're nice options.
We're getting we have to wrap up real quick, but we are getting a quick question for you. Can you can you reload the copper card online?
Yes, that is what we encourage you to do, valleymetrofairs.org.
Okay.
Oh, wow, look at that.
And can you get the card online too?
You can.
Okay.
Or at a fare machine.
You guys make it
and
super
we're handing
easy.
them out on Saturday, so if you want to get a free one.
free
full day of free riding.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we'll be right back with a really fun guest.
Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone. Do you remember your high school principal, your elementary school principal?
You know what I actually
You
do?
do.
Mr. Olson.
Okay.
For good reasons or bad?
For good reasons.
Okay.
Mr. Olson
Okay.
was fantastic. And that's why I'm so excited to have our next guest here this morning.
Mark Anderson, congratulations to you. You retired yesterday from being principal of Highland Lakes Elementary School. We call it school.
Yeah, it's a unique place.
It is. I was there. How many years?
22.
22 years, and your first day of retirement, you're here with us.
Right here.
Well, look at this.
That's right.
You're not off the job.
First morning, I'm not.
Right? You're
Nope.
working.
I don't know that I'll ever be off the job.
Right.
It's kind of ingrained in me.
Let's start at the very beginning, because Anita did a beautiful story on you for her Community Cares. But I feel like, principals really are kind of the pillar of the school, the leadership, but you have made a really lasting impact on that school. I want to start with asking you kind of what got you interested in going into the education
And it's
field?
okay if you cry.
Yeah. I am a bit emotional.
I see the emotion.
Yeah, the emotion. So my mom was a special ed teacher for many years, 32 years. And she had a principal, Mr. Ebert. Shout out to Mr. Ebert.
See, you remember.
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it wasn't even my principal. So it was my mom's principal. But back then they'd shuttle kids around and do different things that they would never do now. So they used to shuttle me to her school, and I would help tutor kids. And I remember it was a smaller school, and I remember at the end of the day watching Mr. Ebert, big guy. He knew almost every kid's name. And I told my mom, I said, I want to do that. I didn't know what it was, but I think what I grasped onto was how he had so many connections with other human beings.
And the impact.
And the impact.
Yeah,
it
the
did.
difference he
Absolutely.
made in their lives.
So I think that from then, I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Mhm.
Started as a special ed teacher, and then quickly moved into administration. So
I'd love to hear from the folks at home. Do you
Yeah.
remember your principal? And do you have any questions for Mr.
I used to be
Anderson
friends
there?
with Mr. Olson on Facebook, but then I think he dropped off of Facebook, and I don't do Facebook anymore either.
Yeah.
But Mr. Olson, if you're out there watching, I still remember you.
You
Middle school.
mentioned that
And
when
that
we
means
chatted.
something.
You
That
mentioned
does mean something.
That
It's-
with the invention of Facebook and social
Yeah.
media, you have seen all these kids
Yeah.
connecting with you, saying, "I remember you."
Yeah, and I have a famous saying. It's on my shirt. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. And so I've been in Las Vegas, I've been in California, I've been everywhere. All of a sudden I hear that shout out and I turn around. Some of them now have their own kids. Some of them, it's 22 years, many of them are adults now.
Mark, what does that saying mean to you?
That every
And
day
where did
is,
it come
it's a
from?
choice.
Yeah.
It actually came from, there was a principal when I first started teaching, and he was at the elementary school across from the high school that I taught at. And he would say it once in a while. And so I'm like, I really like that, because you really do, every day when you put your feet on the ground, you make a choice.
Yeah.
What's that choice going to be? Make it a great day, or don't make it a great day. It's up to you.
Yeah,
So-
that's very true.
Yeah.
And and I included that in my piece, but after each announcement that you did announcements once a week.
Yep.
You would say that. There's a big a sign as you're
I think
walking.
we actually have
yeah.
some video of the school. And
So as you there it
There it
is to the right. As you walk into the school, there's a big sign that says "Make it a great day or not." The choice is yours, and you could hear the kids. It was great because this video right here. We were walking through the hallway trying to get to a classroom to get video, and these kids were all walking through, and that's just so organic right there. They didn't even realize the cameras were there. They just started talking to their principal, and I think there's one little clip of video where you can hear, "I love you," and that it's so neat. I think it spoke volumes about the impression that you made on these kids.
Yeah, it's been a good run, and I think that all of us want to make a difference. I mean, I think that anything a human does wants to make a difference. And I think we all realize, in the frontal part of our brains that, yeah, we make a difference, but then when you run into an experience like this, it's really apparent how many lives that you have touched and how many people you have influenced, and hopefully the world's a little better because you were in it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, we were talking about it, and we were not too long ago asking if you can remember all of your teachers' names. And the ones that really have an impact, I mean, they stick with you
absolutely
forever. I remember Mrs. McBroom, loved her. Mrs. Vala, I did not like Mrs. Vala. I remember her for all the wrong reasons.
Sorry if you're listening.
We always joke that she is probably watching.
Sister Patrice.
Oh, Sister Patrice. We didn't like her?
Well, I did because I was good at grammar, but the kids...
Worked for you, but not for most.
I didn't have a problem with Sister Patrice. Mrs. Bear was everyone's favorite teacher. She loved Rod Stewart. Yes, and that she wore her hair all spiky and drove a little Fiat, a little convertible.
She's really cool.
She was super cool,
yeah.
and it just she just had a different way of relating with us.
Yeah. and that's important.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, those kind of like lasting impressions at the time, excuse me, you might not know that's true. That's going to be happening. But, you know, we still remember this, how many 40, well, not 40, I'm not that old.
Whoa.
But like, what?
Remember, I just retired. Careful. Careful.
But you retired early.
That's right, I did retire.
And you got a cool haircut too,
You
Mark. You
retired
look a lot
early,
younger.
yeah.
Thank you. I
Why'd you
appreciate that.
stay for 22 years?
You know, I always felt I think that
Scooch a little closer to that mic, thank you.
I've always continued to strive to be better, and I think that every year I felt like I could do a little better the next year. And I really do, I mean, doing the job, it was selfish towards me because I truly enjoy helping people. It fills my bucket up. And we built such a great community. The staff there, I mean, it's not about me. It's about the school. It's about what the people do every day in that school. And Highland Lakes is just, it's an amazing place to be. It's an amazing place for kids. It's an amazing place for teachers, staff. Almost all of our staff members have kids that go there. It's a really good place. And so for me, it's home. I've spent more time there over the last 22 years than I have anywhere else.
Right.
And my whole adult life, I've been a principal.
So when Ty threw a rock at the window, let's say he's your student.
Yeah.
Well, I actually really did that.
Okay.
I told
That
you
was
the
nice.
story.
Yeah,
You threw a rock
I was
out a
gonna
window?
say, he did it too?
I was a goody two shoes. I would have never in a million years.
We had pet rocks for science.
Okay.
And I had little one named Pebbles.
Okay.
And my friend.
Wow,
who's-
that's original, isn't it? A rock named Pebbles.
Cute. Are you gonna make fun of me?
No, we're laughing with you.
I sat in the front of the classroom, and my friend Nikki sat in the back of the classroom. She had a really big rock, the one that has the sparkles inside. Okay. So the lunch mom made us all be quiet, go to our seats. We couldn't talk anymore. And Nikki looked at me from across the room. She's like, "Throw me the rock. Throw me your rock." So I threw my rock. Oops. And I chucked it, and it hit the window. And I instantly started crying, and the lunch mom said, "Go to the principal's office." I had never been to the principal's office before. And I walked in, and I just, sorry. And I didn't get in trouble. I mean, they knew it was an honest.
should've.
I should have.
Yeah, suspension is what I would have done.
It was an honest mistake.
Absolutely.
But
And you know what? We make mistakes. And I think that I'm glad to hear.
Thank
you. I'm glad to hear that you didn't get in trouble. I think that, you look at every situation. There's a discipline handbook. There's things you're supposed to follow, but every situation is different. And every human being is different. I say, what's the point of discipline? The point of discipline is to change behavior. If I had you walk into my office like that, I knew immediately that the behavior is going to change. Like, you were remorseful, you were sad about it.
I threw 3 more rocks.
Okay, so that just tanked everything so I needed to suspend you.
Okay. I'm just totally kidding. Yeah, I never threw another rock again.
But
You better know it.
But that is what discipline is
Yeah,
about. It's not about nailing a kid. It's about truly trying to teach them. And as human beings, I think we have the best opportunity to learn and make mistakes as kids, because as adults, you throw a rock through that now, we got a huge problem with much more implications.
Unless
and so you learn it as a kid.
Unless I was throwing it at Ty, then they might applaud me and promote me.
Right.
We're getting some comments, and I love Linda says I loved my teaching career, retired from teaching, mostly kindergarten, enjoy seeing my former students around town. But that must be kind of cool, like you mentioned, especially when they yell out your
22,000 kids.
That's a lot.
20, isn't that crazy?
Of kids. A lot of
kids. That
kids.
is a lot of kids.
Yeah, and they're from all over the valley, so we have a huge open enrollment population.
And some of the students who started when you did are actually working for the district with you.
That's cool.
Well, I've actually now hired, I had 5 teachers that I've hired that were also students of mine while I was principal there. Yeah.
That is really cool.
And Kayla, our PR person, she was one of those.
Yes, I know her well. Yeah.
So they wrote you they put together a book for you.
Yes.
And this is called Letters to a Legend.
I don't know about that.
Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. And it is written and illustrated by the staff.
Oh, that's cool.
And some kids.
I'm not. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to read the letters because I think
I'll get emotional.
I think I would cry too.
We still have 4 minutes left, so we can't make them cry now.
Yeah,
Or is that the goal?
I mean, the kids.
We're not Barbara Walters.
Right.
It's just so much fun, and you did a lot with them too. You let them throw water balloons at you. You dressed as Elf on the Shelf.
Got on the roof.
Yeah.
Every year, I've had approximately 22,000 water balloons thrown at me. Just a lot of things that we've done, traditions we've done over the years. I always serve Thanksgiving meal. I'm the one that's behind serving the meal. My assistant principal and teachers will filter through. Really, I think that being a good principal really is about becoming part of your community.
Yeah.
You really gotta. And it can't be. People say, "Well, how did you find success?" I don't know that. A lot of it's soft skills. A lot of it's the empathy and the truly caring about your people and being a servant leader and just going out and really being there for that
Everyone,
community.
yeah.
That
It's not
community.
just the kids, but it's the parents.
Everybody.
It's the, yeah.
I always say, kids come first always. Whenever we're making decisions, is that good for kids? Then a very close second for teachers, because if teachers aren't happy, kids aren't getting what they need.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you kind of, I mean, we've unfortunately seen like the political climate. A lot of teachers in Arizona want to leave. What would you say, though, to someone who's been in the education field for as many years as you have, about some of these teachers that are, or some of these folks maybe that are thinking of getting into the education field? Because I think at the end of the day, when you kind of quiet the political
noise. It's still
what I call
very
it, is noise.
rewarding. It's very
the
rewarding.
job must be very rewarding.
Focus on kids. Because everything else is just external. And you use my word. I always say, that's just noise. Take out the noise. Whenever you're making a decision, whenever you're wanting to get into something like this, take out the noise and really, truly, if you want to be there for kids and you really want to give of yourself, because it's not an easy job. Education has become a more difficult climate.
Yes.
It's since COVID, and again, I had the luxury of being at the exact same place for a very long time. The world changed. And there's some better things, and there's some things that definitely are not as good.
Yeah, a lot of these kids rely on you guys, not just for the education.
Yes,
but
we
for-
wear many, many, many hats.
What is next for you?
Well, I run a real estate team, and so we will jump both feet into that. And then I signed on to be an administrative sub. So it's a part-time administrative sub, which basically means if I want to work, I work. If there is work, I'll work. If not, I don't have to. And then I'll go in and sub for principals. And there has been talk. We have a lot, just in the, really in the country, I think, we have a lot of new administrators. A lot of people are cycling out, new people are coming in. So I really would love to have the opportunity to help train new principals.
Oh, that's cool.
And not that I have all the answers, but I've seen a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of experience, and I would love to be able, I guess for me, I just want to continue to give back. I do it in my real estate business. I'll do it as a sub. I did it as a principal. Just give of myself and give back to the people around me.
But maybe a vacation?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you going to treat yourself to anything?
So the 13th through the 23rd, we are going to Jamaica.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm really excited.
Get your toes in the sand.
That's right.
A red stripe maybe,
That-
or two.
Or two.
Yeah, I was going to say, you deserve it.
You're retired.
Yeah.
You're retired.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in and
Oh,
sharing
it was
your
truly
story.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
thanks for all that
appreciate it.
you
We
have
learned a
done
lot.
over those 22 years, because like we mentioned, shaping futures and shaping lives. So we appreciate it.
Well, thank you
Thanks.
guys. Very
Yeah.
much appreciate it.
And everyone at home, have a fantastic and safe weekend. We will be back here on Monday.
Bright and early.
Yeah.
Starting at 4:30 a.m.
No more 4:30s for me.
Lucky.
You're done.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.